Ricky Starks denied his AEW release by Tony Khan. Plus, an ex-WWE star is getting a bizarre new ring name, it seems. And lost gameplay modes could be returning for WWE 2K25. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. The story of Ricky Starks wears on. This is kind of concluding what we have already known, but seeing it written down and reported for the first time is quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Ricky Starks has now, we've learned, has reportedly asked for his release from All Elite Wrestling, but the request was not granted by AEW CEO Tony Khan. This is according to Ibu of Wrestle Purists and Selfmade PW, who stated during a several-minute discussion about Ricky Starks and his status in AEW and the industry as a whole that Starks is currently waiting out the rest of his deal, which, as you say, we suspected, but it seems to have had an extra layer of confirmation now.
This is the quote from Ibu, who says, "At the end of the day, things happened to where he's on the outs with AEW right now. It is what it is. There's a lot of things. Most of it will never be reported, but ultimately there's a falling out there, and it is what it is. He asked for a release. Tony won't give it to him, and he's just going to wait out the rest of his deal. He's going to stay relevant by working indie dates, and that's just going to be the situation in the meantime." And he has got back out on the indie scene, as in recent weeks, disappearing from AEW television back in March of last year. It was originally because he'd suffered a stinger.
Yeah.
There were some concerns for him getting back in the ring. Realized he was fine, but simply just wasn't used from there.
Yeah, very strange, because even it wasn't as if he'd been on like a decline either. He'd just really soon before that, I mean, he'd had a tag team title run alongside Big Bill, so it wasn't like he was gradually slipping down the card. He was just there, very relevant, and then after this stinger and everything, and then he just wasn't there anymore.
Now, he's begun working indie dates, as Ibu says that, and as we have seen as well, Glory Pro, Defy, there was some GCW stuff planned, but no sooner was it announced and Ricky Starks made that appearance for GCW that all those plans were scrubbed for whatever reason. Ricky Starks no longer part of those. This is believed to be due to comments about AEW made by Effie on his podcast. That's what it's believed to be anyway, but you kind of feel like there's probably a little bit more to this than we realise.
Probably, but I guess that one just because it was specifically GCW involved. But as you say, and as Ibu said in that quote there's a lot that probably will never come to light between Ricky Starks and Tony Khan. Probably a very tense situation, probably linked to other things. We know that Ricky Starks is very close with people who've left AEW, like Cody Rhodes, and he was close to CM Punk, who left AEW in the most acrimonious of circumstances, was fired from AEW in such acrimonious circumstances. So it's one of those ones where I think we could have all, if someone had come up to me and said, "By the way, did you know Ricky Starks has requested his release?" I'd go, "Oh, that's interesting," but I'm not shocked by it. It's definitely an interesting development in the story, but it's not something that I'm greatly surprised by.
Not blown away by that being a thing. The contract for Ricky Starks was originally set to expire last year. AEW activated an option year, so it's staying a bit longer. And the great expectation within the industry is that Starks will head to WWE at the first chance he gets, where he'll no doubt do some great things in NXT, I do believe.
I mean,
initially.
Yes, you never quite know, but Ricky Starks has all the talent and all the tools at his disposal to do so.
He really does. We're going to keep an eye on this situation at cultaholic.com. Meanwhile, an update for you on Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been on the road to recovery, hasn't he, Jack?
He has. He talked on Instagram. He shared a post about his recovery following a total knee replacement surgery on his left knee. He said, "My left knee was on its last leg," which sounds... hang on. But his left knee was on its last leg, and he said, "I've been putting this surgery off for years, but post-op x-rays show that everything is healing nicely." He said, "I started walking way too soon and too far and really pissed off my new knee. Total knee replacement is a year-long healing process. I don't know what the hell I was thinking." But then he says, the recovery generally is going very well. He also wants to get back into his racing. He says, "I'll get back in the, Kawasaki USA KRX 1000.
Ah, my favourite.
Which I don't know what it is, but I saw the photo that he put up, and it's like a dune buggy looking race kind of thing in the desert. Looks fast and
I thought it was an
manly.
electric keyboard.
No. For the first time this weekend, he says he wants to knock the rust off and get back to driving.
And then WrestleMania confirmed. Right, got
No,
it. No, he doesn't say
that.
that. He does not say that.
But it might explain maybe why he was so hesitant to... I mean, it probably isn't the whole story, but it might have been a factor in why he's been hesitant to appear in WWE in recent times. Maybe he's thinking, I should probably get the surgery done as well, to be honest. And there's been reports that they couldn't agree on a figure and that sort of thing as well.
That and he's become a cat dad now.
And he's cat dad now,
And
of course.
yeah, we know this.
Yeah,
There's been a few times where someone's going, "Hey, do you want to come out?" And you just look at your cat that you get a little bit of fuss to, and you go, "Actually, no, I'm fine."
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think Austin's gone. No, I'm going to stay and play with Poncho. Good lad, good
And
lad.
Macho as well.
And Macho Man. Sorry, lest we forget
he's
about
a,
Macho
he's,
Man.
he's a good cat, from what Austin says, but he definitely has a favourite.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
always like, "Oh, Poncho."
Poncho's the boy. Poncho is the boy. Great name for a cat as well. Is Bishop Dyers a great name for a wrestler?
Maybe. It's a strange one. It catches the eye and the ear, but it seems like an ex-WWE superstar could be using this as their new ring name going forward. It's none other than the former Baron Corbin, a.k.a. Thomas Pestock. He wrestled under that name at GCW just the other weekend as well, but now it looks like he might be changing it to... As Tom said, Bishop Dyers. He applied for a new trademark yesterday with the USPTO, looking to trademark the term Bishop Dyers for, quote, entertainment services in the form of wrestling contests.
When you see Bishop at the start, you immediately believe it's a gimmick related to the clergy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Bishop Dyers, I feel like, was a character on Father Ted.
Yes, I totally get that.
Bishop Dyers is coming round.
It's similar to...
No one's kicked out of his end of days, Ted.
Similar to Deacon Batista vibes, maybe slightly as well.
Oh, yes!
But I feel like he's just using it as a unique kind of forename in wrestling. And Bishop's one of those names that I think you'd very rarely see as someone's given name here in the UK. But in America, well, all bets are off when it comes to first names.
The only Bishop I can think of outside of, like I said, the religious connotation is Bishop from Alien.
Right,
The Alien
okay.
films, the robot Bishop.
We've got a Ripley, and now we might have a Bishop, Rhea Ripley. And then we might have a Bishop as well.
Maybe that's where we're going with it.
I've never seen Alien.
Fightful Select's Corey Brennan revealing this one. WWE are planning a trip to Europe to find some new talent, aren't they?
They are. Corey Brennan says the company will be hosting a tryout in the early days of March later this year for UK and European talents. The tryout will be based in London. Talent from WXW in Germany, OTT in Ireland, and Progress, which is London-based, are all expected to take part in this tryout. Talent have till February 28th to apply for the tryout, as per WWE.
There has been some amazing names that have been really catching fire in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially over the last couple of years.
Bit of a resurgence in the UK scene.
There has, yes. So of course, WWE is going to take full advantage of that. And I hope this leads to some big movement for someone like Rio, who's been just a force of nature on the UK scene.
Yeah, she's really, really good.
Emerson Jane has been doing some really good stuff. Man like DeReese.
Yeah.
Absolutely long overdue. That big moment is Man like DeReese.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got guys like Gene Money out there as well. You look into. I'm thinking of sort of people that will fit in that WWE style. Shreddy is a guy from Hartlepool that rings a bell with
Absolutely.
me. You've probably got a bunch of names as well that you know who you think will work in that WWE way. Let us know who they are down the bottom.
I know somebody who could step in and be an instant heel in WWE.
You.
No. Someone who I've never met in person, but has been the scourge of North Wrestling for a long time. Miles Kamen. He's just got He's got that universal heelish. What's like the opposite of appeal? He's got the universal heelish.
Aura.
Yeah, I hate him. Yeah, he's horrible. He's a horrible guy, but a very, very good heel. Yeah. So yeah, there's so many names that we could possibly see going forwards. The minute I think like the crown jewel at the moment of the UK scene, apart from Joe Hendry, who's now spending more time over in the States, obviously, but the one who's kind of still part of the UK scene but still over there is Leon Slater. But obviously he's now part of TNA Wrestling, so I'm assuming he will not be part of this tryout. But there's still a plethora of names that we could see.
Strong list of names. Do you reckon they need ring announcers?
No.
I'm just putting that out in the world. Let's manifest. Joe Hendry did. Look at him. He's fighting John Cena in the Rumble. Definitely.
Definitely
a thing that's
Do you think they'll have a stare down at the very least?
I
They'll have
think
a little
so.
moment.
I think give him a stare down. Give him a stare down.
Joe Hendry. No. He's put. I was about to do my Joe Hendry impression.
I think you
and
should.
I just said his name instead.
As I said upstairs, you have the best Scottish accent in the entire office.
Fraser was right there.
I know, it was funny.
What was I gonna do? I was gonna go, John Cena, let me get one thing straight. But I just messed it up the first time. I'm genuinely devastated, Tom. We've got one more story to talk about, everybody.
Here's something that we can get straight.
Let me get one thing straight.
And that is the return of a long-lost gameplay mode from the WWE video games. A mode that's not been part of the WWE video game world since SmackDown vs. Raw 2009.
Tom Campbell, let me get one thing straight. Yes, WWE games seem to have teased some new features ahead of the latest announcement, and there's going to be another announcement next week. This included a video that dropped yesterday in which we saw Rhea Ripley begin to talk about, it seemed like she was about to talk about intergender matches in wrestling, but she barely gets the word intergender out. She doesn't really finish the word, and then the video cuts away to Dominic Mysterio, who interrupts her and says, oh, that's a juicy secret between me and Liv Morgan. You're not going to get to reveal this right now. But I think the implication is very clear. The video is even captioned with the male and female little emojis. The implication is that they're going to bring back intergender matches in the games.
Yeah, because since 2009 SmackDown versus Raw, that's not been a thing. I think it's certainly with some of the wrestling games recently. Anytime that a male wrestler attacks a female wrestler, if like she's a manager or whatever, then the match immediately ends, immediately stops. Yeah. I feel like this is the beginning of them loosening up on that a little bit. I feel like the WWE games have kind of are going back to the roots a little bit, because we've seen the return of GM mode, we've seen the return of blood more prominently to the games as well, and I guess intergender mode will kind of add to that idea of going back to where it began.
Do you think as well that this has implications in the real WWE product? Not that they'll suddenly become like a company with fully mixed matches and all that sort of stuff, but do you think this could imply, and you even mentioned off camera, the fact that they've included Rhea and Dom in this specifically, that we could see that Rhea versus Dominic match at some point in the near future?
I think so. Well, it's one of them where I feel like that because now Rhea's moved on to other things, I feel like that ship has sailed and we never got that match. And there's nothing to say that they couldn't do something that reignites it and brings it back round again. But it feels like that they've moved on from that now. But having said that, I would imagine that I'd like this to be the beginning of when the time is right to do it, not just doing it for the sake of doing it, but when the time is right to do it, and not being so timid about having those physical interactions between male and female wrestlers either.
Right.
Feel be less timid about it and allow that to breathe a little bit more. I think would be good.
I think so. I don't know if this is indeed the game mode they're going to reintroduce. I don't know if maybe they'll change it slightly from how it was in the olden days of the games, but maybe they'll have some more constraints around it or something. We'll have to wait and see what form it takes.
We'll see. More announcements about 2K25. You're welcome. More announcements about 2K25 are on the horizon, and we'll let you know more when we know more. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.
Let me get one thing straight. I will be in the Royal Rumble.